Hey everybody, welcome to another Let's Pod and Play, episode 3 of season 2. I'm Corey, and joining me, as always, is that retro code, that wonderful human being, right there, Edward Varnell.
Hi everybody.
Ed, we're about to dive into the deep, deep world of Metro. We're taking a look at this game because Metro Exodus is coming at some point, and we've never really played these games before, and we tried to record a little bit the other day, and then we had to take a break, and then my recording stuff wasn't set up, so we are take 2. But anyways, how's it going, Ed?
It's going real good.
How's your day going?
Oh, had a great day. I actually went out ate some breakfast. And the reason why I say that is because I had some bomb pancakes out of this world.
Pancakes?
Yes, they were so good. And then I had a skillet with like pretty much bacon, sausage, ham, hash browns, eggs, cheese, all that good stuff. But the pancakes, dude, I was like knocked out. I was just like, this is so good. And I couldn't. It's weird because my friend, he had breakfast, but he had a Guinness. I'm just like, who drinks at 10 o'clock in the morning? When we got to the place, there was a couple of people with Chardonnay and wine. Like, it's too early to do any of this.
Right. Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Exactly. But had a good time rewatching the Nintendo Direct, taking notes, doing it for my podcast, and playing a lot of Tomb Raider today. But I'm so glad to be playing this game once again with you, because we both were trying to figure out what the heck is going on with this game.
I know. I still don't really understand. So this may be a shorter episode, not like 10 minutes or anything, but like probably around the 45-minute mark. I'm just going to continue where we left off the other day, because that whole first probably 20 minutes that we were playing, and I still don't know what I'm doing. It says press square to turn off the light. I don't understand what this means. I don't understand what any of this means. But yeah, man, that Nintendo Direct was crazy. They gave us a lot more than I thought they were going to.
Dude,
sorry, Artem.
yes. So
this part of the station is under temporary lockdown.
Me, Corey, and our special guest Ray were on Nintendo Pop Block, and we did our reactions to the Nintendo Direct that happened on March 8th. And man, I going back and combing through stuff. I'm still super excited. And when I was playing more, when I messaged you, I was just like, I didn't expect that Mario Tennis Aces would be that deep with this game. Like we watched it and went point for point and looked at everything, and I'm just like, okay, this game is just more than sports. Like if you're really trying to get like the hang of everything, this game is deep.
Yeah, dude, like with all the racket breaking stuff, and then like the different, like there's like 4 or 5 different shots you can hit now, and like you can it's almost like a bullet time tennis shot where you can like aim where you want the shot to go. And then it also has like the cool casual mode with like it takes the racket breaking stuff off, the blocking off, and then you can also make it even more casual and use the motion controls like Wii Tennis.
Yeah. I was just like, wow. And dude, I know you didn't touch. I know you probably didn't look at the Japanese Direct or the UK Direct. The UK one. Yeah, the UK one is pretty much almost like the American one, but they're doing a Splatoon tournament on the 31st of March. So, and they're going to have a virtual concert with Mario and Pearl, I think. Or
Marina
Pro. Yeah, they're doing a virtual concert with a live feed. So and then you can watch it through a website, like through a stream. So I thought that was cool.
Drunk again.
Japan though, they're yeah, people probably see this on Destructoid, but they're gonna have for Fantasy Star Online 2, they kind of got the Breath of the Wild the costume for their character for it.
Nice.
Yeah, and the game comes out game comes out April 4th.
Submachine gun,
oh, wow.
5.45
So,
caliber,
people
made in the
who
armor.
wanna
It's got
guess
poor
get
accuracy
it,
and overheats
the
like
international
hell.
version.
That's why they call it bastard gun.
They can if they want to do the import. But yeah, and then of course they're getting Ghost Story, and then Square Enix gave him Saga.
Here's a
like one of the
universal
Saga
charger
games. It's a
to
new
keep the
Saga game
battery
coming
power.
to it, and I'm like, oh wow.
And a gas
New
mask.
Saga game.
Put it on if you crossed any radiation
Nice.
hot zones. Or, God help you, go up to the surface.
Man,
Army
that,
issue
yeah, that
first aid
direct
kits,
was like,
just in case.
I don't even know how to like. I don't even know how to process it right
Okay,
now because
you're
like,
supplied, my
I
friend.
mean, on top of like
Feel
Mario
free to
Tennis
try
and
out
how
your
deep
weapon
that
on my
was,
firing range.
we're getting Captain
And,
Toad
you try not
with,
to stick
with
out your head
new
too much,
Yes.
Mario
okay?
Odyssey themed levels, which is exciting because like, dude, new Donk themed levels is gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah.
And I can't believe we're getting a Dark Souls amiibo. That was cool.
Yeah, that mug sold out at GameStop. Like, dang.
I mean, just. I wonder. I can't believe Matt was like the best. I thought for sure Matt would be like, just. I'm sure he freaked out when they said there was a Dark Souls amiibo, but I'm just. He said Captain Toad was the best announcement yesterday, which I kind of agree with him, to be honest with you. And like, I know we got the Smash tease at the end, but I'm more excited for Captain Toad, I think.
You know, I think I'm more excited for Mario Bowser Inside Story, and okay, of course, Akami HD. But Captain Toad, yes, like that is the game that is so fitted for Switch to play on the go. Like I like it's cool that to play it on the big screen, but I think just playing that on the go, it just would be so much fitting.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on over here.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, I should put the video capture device down. I'm sorry, guys. This is louder than I expected it to be. But yeah, I'm really excited for all the Nintendo stuff that was announced yesterday. What else was announced yesterday that was like, oh, the Splatoon 2 paid DLC looks really interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna have 80 levels, dude. Like, wow.
80 levels? Did they confirm that?
Yeah, they when I was rewatching it and going through it, there was just like 80 stages, and everything is like, I guess, done by train, by the subway.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah. I think I'm embarking on a mission here, but I'm unsure. I really still have no idea what's happening in this game. I feel like all I've done is walk around and like pick up weapons and look at animals and kids drawing on the floor and stuff. Which, like, it's cool if I was like playing this game and wanted to be really immersed in it and stuff. Oh my gosh, this thing, it's one of those like cartoon train cart things where they're like hand pumping the car on the tracks.
Let's see, get to police, find a ranger named Miller.
Let's see, what else happened? What else happened that is important that we should talk about? Oh, isn't Trump meeting with like the ESRB or the ESA this week or something?
He did, yeah. because it was like kind of like closed. It was like a closed meeting to the press and stuff. So, but I know they was talking about they was talking about the clips that they were showing for the violent stuff was from YouTube players. And I'm just like, that doesn't give the full context. Like, you want to talk about what's being depicted on you want sorry, I was playing the game. You want to it's like you want to depict that these video games are violent, but you don't want to give no context to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's dangerous because that doesn't give the full that doesn't explain anything. Just because something is violent on the television or in the game, if you don't understand what the story is, the gameplay, what you got to do to actually probably even get that kind of violence or something or graphical thing, like you wouldn't understand. Like they don't know about coding, they don't know about narrative and stuff being story driven. Like they just see what's on the thing and try to use that as the reason that people become mass shooters, which I don't really understand. Like you just can't look at anything and become a professional.
Yeah, like I mean, we talked a lot about this on Arsenal X the other day. Well, I guess by the time this episode comes out, it was like 2 episodes ago. But the way these like mass shootings are happening, and the way like you look at these kids, like you can't just pinpoint them to one thing. You just can't.
Right. And at the time of this recording, there was a gunman that was holding people up in California, like 3 people up. So, like, where's the discussion? Like, what's the video game discussion about violence there? Like, and I know we talked about this, but I'm just like, while you having a meeting, something like this is going on. So now what? Like,
yeah, like it's not like a video game. Like let's see, I was on Ray's show the other day, Geek Pulse, that their podcast, and I was just like, we had a discussion about it, and like from what look, I'm not an expert by any means, but there's so many things you need to consider in this topic, and it's like I think video games has just as much of an impact as violent movies when we were kids, or watching cartoons when we were kids, or watch like Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, Transformers, all these things. And like I understand like the differences, like it's interactive, but the thing is, I was interactive when I was watching Ninja Turtles. I bought the toys and I was slamming together, or my friends and I would like go outside and do fake karate moves because we were watching Ninja Turtles, right? We were imitating what we saw on TV, and like that's all fine and stuff. Oh, there's a monster on my train car. Oh geez, these things are everywhere. Oh no, get off my car. I don't know what to do. He's eating me. Ooh, I just caught that thing on fire. Why am I the only one here? It's a tap. Oh, quickly tap. Okay, nailed it. Sorry, I got to this really intense part. But oh my gosh, what the heck? There's so many of them. what we were talking about was like, I get that it's interactive, but then I started comparing video games to sports and how like the competitive nature of any sport is just as violent as when you're playing a competitive video game too, you know? And
Yeah, right.
And you know, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything, or like be like, I'm defending games because if you want to point at games, then you got to point at sports, you got to point at movies, you got to point at TV, you got to point at social media, and then you got to point at look, when I was in school, like bullying was such a huge thing. Ooh.
Yeah, dude, I could.
I don't really know what's happening right now. I can't tell if I'm like dying or if this is part of the game.
Mine's been into a cutscene.
I think I'm supposed to go this way. But you know, I think the competitive nature, the human's competitive nature, with the mixture of, you know, everything that we're able to entertain ourselves with, mixed with, you know, lack of education, mixed with social media and bullying and everything. Because like, even since like I was in school, bullying is on a whole nother level than it was when I was in school. You know, you can post stuff online of people. There's apps that you can post to that, you know, like Snapchat or Twitter or Facebook, that wasn't around when we were in school. There's all kinds of things, and I just think like communicating and being educated and being knowledgeable of all these things, as well as like, you know, I'm not trying to tell people how to parent their kids either, but like, I think being open and communicative, that's not a real word, but with your kids about like what's happening, you know, where they're at in their lives, and just have like an open dialogue all the time, and being able to make sure like you're involved without being hypercritical of everything, you know. There's a point where you need to be involved in your kids' lives, and like even from like a young age, you know, you need to be educating yourself on what your kids are into. You know, my parents didn't care anything about Ninja Turtles, you know, but they learned everything about them because I was interested in it, you know.
Right.
And you know, we talked a lot about it on Arsenal X, and then on Ray's show. You should download it, by the way, Geek Pulse Gaming. It was a fun time. Shout out to Aaron too. We need to get him on Nintendo Power Block. But just being educated and being smart, and also like, kids can play mature games if they're educated and you know, kind of mature enough to handle them, you know. I don't think allowing kids to, now I'm not going to say a 7-year-old should be playing Grand Theft Auto. I'm saying like, okay, a mature game like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something, if you're like a 14 or 15-year-old kid and you're at a point where you understand that stuff is violent and wrong to do on like in like the real world, basically, you know, I think it's okay to as long as you're educated about what's happening, like it's okay to play those games as like just as entertainment, you know. I mean, we were watching movies like Terminator and stuff when we were young. We were way too young to be watching those movies, you know.
Right.
So okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay. There we go, I guess. I think I did the right thing. I still don't know what happened in that mission, but what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're a parent out there, just if your kid's into something, just don't neglect what they're into. Be informed, pay attention, just understand what it is, and if it's something violent, make sure if it's too violent, just make sure, like, you're watching what your kids are doing, but at the same time, like, something like Ninja Turtles, you can tell your kid that, like, they can watch Ninja Turtles, just don't go kick someone in the face at school, because that's wrong. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
But
I just think making video games a scapegoat is just awful. I mean, it's good that we're having this conversation, but it sucks that that's the point. That's the point that they're trying to make, that we have to have this conversation.
But it's sad that there only could have this conversation. Of course, a lot of people say you can have this conversation about video games, but you can't have it about guns. When we demand a conversation about guns, because you are a political figure, you walk away from it. You don't want to have it because you fear that you're not going to get no money for your campaign and you're going to lose your position. So it showcases that your position is, you want to keep your position than the people that you're supposed to be protecting and working hard for. So all those ads and all that money that you put in to go against your opponent and stuff doesn't even matter, because you're really about something else and not for the people that you're supposed to serve. And it's funny when, well, not funny. It's good that you mentioned sports, because if you want to blame, like, not mass shootings, but sports provides a lot of angers just from viewership.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, or if you see news reports, or even at bars and stuff, you see how violent adults could get. You've seen it, you probably heard stories or seen some stuff at Pee-wee games.
Yeah.
Because that parent is just has an anger management problem. There's always things that we could see, but we don't want to address. So with video games, because of a young person does a mass shooting, that's the reason. Well, it showcased that person who did the shooting for Parkland wasn't even a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to make something to make an argument on why it started. Well, it's not because of video games. I'm like, this person was 19 years old. This person was able to walk into a gun store and buy a gun. Mm-hmm. How he got the money, I don't know. He may have a job. He might have stole money from the people that he was staying with. Who knows? But he was literally able to go in and obtain one. And we don't address anything about that. These politicians are turning their backs on that stuff. And yeah, I know a lot of us are probably tired of hearing the discussion and talking about it. But you got to think that one group of people are being attacked and used as a scapegoat, and it doesn't solve the problem. And there's never full context given about violent video games. And it's not even violence. Once again, they were even proved that if you look at sales for video games, the E-rated games are selling out more than M-rated games. Mm-hmm. Nowadays there's only few that does sell well. It's gonna, for an M-rated game, if it's not Grand Theft Auto, if it's not Call of Duty, or even Battlefield, what other M-rated game is selling to a whole bunch of people that will cause a mass shooting?
Yeah.
And
you look at Nintendo. How are you gonna tell me that, like, Nintendo games are causing mass shootings? Like, and I get it. Like, I'm sure some of these kids played games, and I'm sure, like, some of it had an influence, but it's not like, look, what was the shooting at the movie theater when The Dark Knight Rises came out? Yeah. like
war shooter.
Yeah, that guy played video games. He was he played a lot of Grand Theft Auto, and like this conversation got brought up a little bit. Then I have no idea what I'm doing in this game. By the way, I'm just walking around this hub world, like really just trying to figure out what I'm doing. But you know, they brought that up and they said even if video games was his sole influence on this shooting, and the only game he played was Grand Theft Auto, like that game at that time had sold like 30 million, 20 million, something like that. 30 million. The argument was if you have one bad egg out of 30 million people, like how is that a statistic? You know.
Well, and this is weird. What if so you got one bad apple who did out of 30 million from who bought a video game, and so what if everybody else had straight A's, were high school students? What about the parents who played these games, who actually bought it so that they could play it for their son? What if their kid didn't even ask to play Grand Theft Auto, but they was forced to because their dad or their mom was a big gamer or thought it would be them occupied, you know? And it's not always a game like that. Like you cannot. If you go to Texas, I bet you kids who know how to use a gun could show you all the steps that it takes to clean it, load it, how to handle it, get accurate shots. A kid who never had a gun, who has a controller in his hand, will be shaken to even hold a gun because they wouldn't know what to do with it. They haven't been trained. Like, you cannot tell a digital thing that's been trained. I love one of this Army guy. He was on Twitter and he was talking about what he had to train in doing the not playing the game in the military on how to use weapons. And he explained that what happened in the Army doesn't correlate to what happens in a video game, and he went off. So he was trying to show the NRA and show these politicians that what we do in the Army is very different than what is done in the video game. There's no ammo just laying around.
Yeah.
And in any first-person shooter video game that's mainstream, when have you had to purchase bullets?
Yeah.
You know, we're playing Metro 2033, where we have to try to look for bullets in this game. There's just not ammo laying around. Where's the ammo box at in the real world? That we could just recoup ammo like it ain't no tomorrow if we were smash shooters or anything. Yeah. Like I think boxes of ammo at a gun store probably cost a lot of money. And guns ain't cheap. So
yeah, I mean, in my personal opinion, I think we need stricter gun laws, but at the same time, it's like, whoa, why do I have a gun? Am I supposed to shoot this guy? I don't understand. My thing is like when they wrote the Second Amendment, they were using one shot like musket type weapons, you know, like they were literally shoving the bullets into the barrel, loading the gun with gunpowder and shooting it, and it would take like 5 minutes to reload your weapon, right? They weren't talking about assault rifles or shotguns or anything. Like that's kind of my thing. And like I don't care if people like own guns to protect themselves, but like have stricter rules on how you acquire them. Have like they should have like specific stores for weapons and background checks and stuff. You shouldn't be able to go up to like Walmart and buy an assault rifle, you know?
And that's why, well, right now the NRA is trying to sue Rick Scott from Florida because he passed a bill in Florida, like a gun law bill. But sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm still just trying to figure out what I'm doing.
There we go. Is it after the train thing?
Yeah.
So press the touch button and hit R2. It'll pull up a list of what you need to do, and the green arrow will show you where you need to go.
Well, look at that. I've been running around this hub area the whole time we've been talking.
Yeah. And so that's happening. But I think people like Dick's Sporting Good should get more business because they're not carrying certain guns. Walmart stopped carrying, which I didn't even know that Walmart had stopped carrying guns like 3 years ago and stuff, or certain assault rifles, I should say. And a lot of people feel like with the NRA, people they fear that they will stop getting profit. So, with the manufacturers, but even if I think what would happen is, well, not it would happen, but if people who were so against guns and wanted stricter gun policies and stuff like that, if they didn't like really go to a gun store and continue not buy it, I really wonder how many people who are on a gun, who are feared that their gun's gonna get taken and all of that other stuff, like how many of them keep them the gun manufacturers in business? Mm-hmm. No one is screaming that they want their guns taken away, that want stricter gun laws and stuff. They want a better restriction. Everything in most of the United States has some kind of law or restriction law to it. Games have to get rated. If they're not rated, it doesn't come out unless you're going to provide it on your website. Mm-hmm. Buying cigarettes and alcohol, that has a law that you have to that stores have to follow, and people are sitting agents, undercover kids and stuff to see if they can access that. But stores protect themselves because they have a process that they gotta use. Movies have a process when they get rated and people go see it. Like if it's an R-rated movie and you're underage, you have to show your driver's license to show that you're 17 to watch this movie. Like, and now, and some theaters changed it where everybody has to have it. If one person doesn't have it, that person cannot get in. So, that happens. Medicine has a process in order to obtain it. Even with Advil or is it Advil or cough syrup, like you got to go through a process in order to buy cough syrup. Like it's locked up. So there are things, definitely, even with food, they put the nutritional facts on it. They had to put that on. Like there are things in this world that might not be harmful, but have a process because there has some laws on it, some restrictions. So these stores had to go through a process in order to sell it and deliver it. Why are guns not the only one that have a restricted process? Even secondhand selling doesn't have it. We've been through Congress and with Joe Lieberman and stuff. Like we have video of that. Sega even took the charge when they had their own rating system. They had MA13 and MA17 for Mortal Kombat and stuff. Like they was the ones to implicate that even before they started the ESRB. Mm-hmm. Those politicians don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's something that they should be like educated on, and like you would think they would be kind of educated on that, considering that that's what spawned this conversation in the 90s.
They're too. I think a lot of politicians are too focused on being in the spotlight, and they want positive things, so they want their ego stroke. So they'll say and agree on stuff if they could get their ego stroke, if they could get the people's trust. Because if they could get people's trust and keep it rolling, then if they might feel like that's a guarantee that they will stay in that position when it comes to voting again.
Yeah.
You know, Trump had no idea about video games until that senator said something. So why not hop on it and create this big debate?
Yeah.
Like when other mass shootings was happening and he wasn't president, all that stuff was visible, and yet he didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, all right, where did this guy go? This way. Okay. Yeah, I really just think like I just really hope that, you know, there's a good case to say, look, video games aren't the issue. I mean, we know there's a good case because we understand all this stuff, but at the same time, these people that don't, they just want to point at something, and hopefully, you know, this. I don't know. I don't know how else to like go into it, but just, you know, if you're listening to this, just be educated. You know, just be. Oh, these guys are shooting at me. That's weird. Okay, that's what's happening. Just be educated, just be smart, especially if you have kids, just educate them as well, and just be on top of it. So, I heard something really funny on a podcast today, though, where it was, I was listening to Giant Beastcast today, and they were talking about, like, Trump meeting with the ESA today or whatever, or this week, and they were saying like maybe he's just telling them that he has all the high scores in all the greatest arcade games ever made. Since he likes to say things that, you know,
that's just outrageous.
He likes to say whatever he wants, whether it's true or not.
Gets away with it.
So it was just funny. I love Giant Bomb so much. They're so good. Maybe I should use this gun. Ooh, that guy's on fire. But finally getting into some action over here on this screen now that I found the guy I was supposed to talk to. Thanks, Ed.
You're welcome.
Sorry, everybody who was watching and just watched me walk around in circles for 20 minutes. I found a lot of bullets, though, so I mean... But yeah, speaking of shooters, Battlefield and Call of Duty are coming out again this year. Interesting though. Call of Duty's giving up its first week in November spot to move into that second week of October, which is crazy. Do you think it has to do with Red Dead? They want people to play that game before they move on to Red Dead.
Yeah.
It's got to be, right? I mean, everybody wants to get out of the way of Red Dead, except for like maybe Nintendo.
Oh, what the heck? I fell in the water and died.
Why would you fall in the water, Ed? That's not
because
good.
I jumped and it didn't let me jump to the other side.
Oh.
So I guess I gotta run the jump. And they go great.
Are you at the point with the broken train tracks?
Let's see. I flipped the man over. Got itself back in batteries. Yeah. Or bullets, I should say. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Oh, I'm supposed to go this way? That doesn't make sense.
Well, isn't it Battlefield 2? But it looks like a V for 5.
Yeah, I really don't know. I know that the rumors are, well, I guess it's been confirmed now, but it's well, that's not it's World War II, but it's going to be called Battlefield 5, and it looks like a V, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and then Black Ops 4 is supposed to be more of a modern take on Black Ops, I guess, instead of futuristic. So, I guess it's continuing the story of Black Ops 2 and 1. So, I think is what people were saying. I don't really know how that's going to work, but... Oh, he's over there.
Sorry about that, everybody.
How do I get over there? I want to go around. Get out of my way. You're in my way.
But yeah. I have Battlefield 1. I got it like for $16, brand new. I'll give it a try. I know me and Todd Oxtra talked about it, and he's kind of like, this game looks weird. Like, it don't even look fun.
Yeah, I never really got into Battlefield. I liked Bad Company. I played Bad Company, but... that was probably the last time I really played a Battlefield, and I only played the campaign. I wish they would make that. Bad Company was cool. They actually like took time to make a fun story. But everybody knows how we feel about EA, so
Pretty much.
So, I guess we should probably talk about this game now that we're done talking about violence in video games. Are you excited for Exodus? I mean...
not really. And only reason why, because if it plays just like this, I'm like, I guess I wanted level based, and what they showed at E3 didn't really look like this the real game. It's like all that looked like cutscene, like CGI cutscene. So I feel like it's not a good guarantee that that's going to be the actual game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to be more like open spaces with like a linear open space, like kind of like what they were trying to do with Uncharted 4, I guess, where like, you know, it kind of felt like open-ish, but it still had a linear path to it. Oh, I fell in the water. I guess I'm dead now, huh? Whoops. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I played these games and kind of like understood what I was playing and really got into it, I would be excited. But Metro just kind of seems like a niche title kind of thing, and not that not that the game is bad or anything. I just, you know, it's the same thing as like Monster Hunter World. Like, I'm sure it's a great game and the mechanics are good and everything, and I'm sure the story's compelling and stuff, but it's just one of those things that's not for me. And like, we want to take a look at this game because we'd never played it before, right?
Right.
So that's our main reason for playing it, and kind of wanting to discuss the violence in video games and really taking a look at this game and this series. But you know, like I said, I'm not really I fell in the water again. I guess I'm not supposed to go that way. But I think the setting is cool. I think the story is interesting. I think it's I think the whole premise of Metro is really fascinating, where like the original author wrote 3 books, I think, and then they just kind of allowed everyone else, like a lot of other people, to add to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like I want to say it's kind of like The Witcher, where they kind of add to the universe with like other media and stuff. But these games are, at least Last Light and this, are based on the books, and it's really interesting that they allow other authors to add to the universe, where like, okay, these original books were Russian and really dove deep into what a nuclear holocaust would be, but then years later someone from Scotland wrote a book about what's happening in Scotland during this time, and then somebody else wrote one what's happening in Britain, what's happening in Korea, all these other places, and it's really fascinating to see this universe grow. And I think the story of the universe is more fascinating than the stories itself.
Right.
Man, I still think I'm supposed to jump over there, but I don't really.
No, you're not supposed to. Well, no. There should be some stairs where you at. You don't really jump anywhere.
Because I went too far.
And I don't got no.
And it's
go ahead.
It's kind of like The Witcher, and I would really like to take a look at The Witcher. Maybe in like season 3, I would like to take a look at The Witcher, and what they did.
Right.
What the heck?
Shit. He's gonna probably have to try to kill him by himself, because I don't got no bullets.
I don't really know where I'm supposed to go. How did I get? Okay, well, I think I have to reload my last checkpoint because I think I missed something. Yeah, I missed something. So, and I really do want to take a look at The Witcher. Maybe like that'll be our first game for season 3 or something, since we already have this season planned out. But I really want to talk about that series and how fascinating how like that series kind of grew from nothing into something like huge.
Did you get to the end part of the subway when the monsters came?
Not really. I looked at my little chart thing and it just kind of like, go this way, and I'm going the wrong way, but that's all right. I think I don't even know where my guy is at, to be honest with you. My friend guy that I'm traveling with.
I think once you get to the end part, you're supposed to go down the stairs that's on the left and into that room.
Down the stairs to the left.
When you get to like the very end, after killing those enemies.
Yeah, there's nothing here. There's no. You must be farther than I am, or in a different spot, because this is.
Oh.
I'm still on the broken train tracks, and I'm at the very last platform, and there's like a tunnel that's been caved in, and then there's nothing. Am I missing something? Is there something over here?
No, because everything's connected by stairs, and then I know you're supposed to go through one of the subs.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll figure it out. This has not been my best playthrough of a game. Oh, there's stairs over here. Now I'm back underneath here, and now I don't know how to get across. Unless there's stairs over here. No. I don't know.
This is a weird cutscene.
This is just a weird game in general. I don't really understand. I still don't really understand what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? But I don't know. I think the history of this series is kind of fascinating, and I kind of wish I would have prepared myself more to talk about it, but then we got all caught up in the violence in video games discussion.
The heck, I died in a cutscene?
But we've been recording for almost an hour. I think we can go ahead and wrap this episode up. But unless you want to keep going, unless you want to...
Oh, no.
See what happens. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe Metro wasn't the best decision to have an episode on. But that's okay. I do appreciate this game series, and I appreciate, that studio went through a lot of rough times with development, and, especially with Last Light in particular, when their studio flooded, and then they were in the middle of that civil war that happened over there, and it was all kinds of messy. And then they moved studios to the other end of Russia where they're working on Exodus now. And I'm glad they kind of got out of the mess that they were in. But this has been a look at Metro 2033. We are playing the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game. I think I finally figured out where to go at the end of this episode, but that's okay. I don't need to go that way. Remember, you can see Pod and Play every Saturday at, what did we say, 8 a.m.?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Eastern. Thanks, Ed, for keeping that straight for me. 10 a.m. Eastern time here on youtube.com/NGR Radio. If you want to check out our older episodes, you can go check out Tomb Raider, which was our first episode, which was a very, very good discussion. And then Infamous Second Son. I do apologize for the crackle for Infamous. My microphone cord was dying on me, and so we had some crackle issues. But we've got that all fixed now. Next week's episode, a little tease for you. One of mine and Ed's favorite games of the last 2 generations, I would say. DMC,
Yes.
Devil May Cry. We will be playing the definitive edition here on PS4 and Xbox One. So I hope you enjoy that, and hope you subscribe to our channel. I hope you enjoy this series. Check out our other Let's Play series that's going on right now, Squad Goals, that we are doing with Jesse Douglas, Rainbow Six Siege, Halo 4, Sea of Thieves content coming up, lots of Sea of Thieves content coming up. The Division, we're going to try to dive back into the Division because of the Division 2 announcement. Gears of War, we're covering a lot of stuff with that. So that show goes up on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern also. So check that out. Our Halo 4 episode should be up by now. Was a whole lot of fun. A lot of comedic moments. So hopefully you guys check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Ed, thanks for joining me again on Let's Pod and Play. This has been episode 3, Metro 2033. Check it out if you want. And see you next week, guys.
Bye, everybody.